Here it is, the anticipated Skylanders Giants. I taught Skylanders. Let's not waste any more time and get right into this anticipated video of mine. Let's get to it. Alright, the first thing we're going to talk about is the starter packs, everything just about this game. And the second part, we're going to move into the figures, and then we're going to close out this video. So we're going to start off with the starter packs. There's amounts of 3 normal starter packs you could have bought. First being the Skylanders Giant starter pack, which included T-Rex as your first ever giant, and then included Series 2 Cinder and Jetpack. And then moving on, you got the 3DS starter pack, which included T-Rex, Series 2 Cinder, and Power Punch Pop Fizz. My fault. Included Power Punch Pop Fizz, which is the first way you could have got Pop Fizz. I believe he was a Series 1 season, but he was a starter pack release too in the 3DS starter pack. And then you have the big Wii exclusive starter pack, which included Gnarly T-Rex, which came with a Wii console, which was the originally only way you could get Gnarly T-Rex, but then he moved on and became another solo pack figure. And then the game. It has a total of 16 chapters, which of course the best being the one with Drill X. Play that clip.
You don't stand a chance, Skylander. Even though you won that round, 'cause the power won't drop and the killer won't stop until the city of Tarkus is found. On time out, Skylander. There's something up with my drill, but you better watch out. You'll be down for the count when I show you my smashing skill. What did you do, Skylander? You just won the final round. I can't keep you beat and my systems are all shutting down.
And then, but this game is the first game by Toys for Bob and Activision. You might be saying, but I thought Sparrows Adventure was too. Sparrows Adventure was only made by Toys for Bob and Activision on the Wii. The rest of them were made by X-Pac. This game was all Toys for Bob and Activision. From Wii, Wii U, Xbox 360, Xbox PS3. And what this did was help the game be similar through all the consoles and not have a difference like how the 360 PS3 did from Sparrows Adventure. So the game is all the same and on every console. So now let's move on into the figures, which is probably the part everybody's been waiting for. Blah blah blah. So let's get into it. There was a total of only 16 brand new Skylanders added to the game. The rest were Series 2, Series 3. But another new thing was the Lycor Skylanders, which are these Skylanders that when you put on the portal would light up in-game, which were pretty cool. But I'm not talking about them. So we're going to start off with the...
Sunburning, sorry for cutting you off, but next we have the water element. Skylanders Giants introduced 2 new water Skylanders, a Core, Chill, and the giant Thumpback. Today, I'm going to specifically be talking about Thumpback. Thumpback was once a crew member of the Phantom Tide, the most fearsome pirate ship in all of Skylands. But the actual pirating part didn't interest Thumpback so much as the benefits that came with traveling on a large ship. After all, his real passion was fishing. But when his chance came to finally ensnare the most elusive creature in the sky, the Leviathan Cloud Crab, he was pulled overboard and carried off into the horizon. This was actually quite fortunate because sometime later the Phantom Tide and its entire crew were banished to the Chest of Exile. Thumpback's pirating days were over, but his legend as one of the first Skylanders had only just begun. A base Thumpback has 460 health, 20 speed, 30 armor, 50 critical hit, and 25 elemental power. And a max level Thumpback features 920 health, 68 speed, 60 armor, 100 critical hit, and 75 elemental power. Thumpback has 2 base moves. His primary, which is an anchor swing attack, and a secondary belly flop that you can use to dive through crowds of enemies. Like every other Skylander, Thumpback features 4 basic upgrades. A third attack, the Chomp, that's primarily used to take out heavy enemies and gains you health upon defeating an enemy. The other basic upgrades enhance your 3 moves. He has 2 upgrade paths. In my opinion, his best path, Anchor's a Yay, improves Thumpback's anchor attacks, which is great when combined with a Skylander whose strength is up close attacks. The second upgrade path, Up Close and Personal, improves his belly flop and chomp attacks. In my opinion, Thumpback doesn't have a bad path, and you really could go either way. Thumpback's Soul Gem can be found on the level Glacier Gully. This never made sense to me because why wasn't it chill?
What?
After collecting his Soul Gem, you'll be able to buy a new ability, Blowhard. While you're sliding, you can now spray water and starfish onto enemies.
Oh, hello. I think I got my talking back. What was that? Thumplander? Why was he here? Okay, whatever. He talked about Thumpback. So I guess we talk about the other core, which was Chill. Chill has a well ability, being able to throw it. She is an RI in the water core, of course. She did get a light core variant and a light core legendary variant. This is something that didn't do much. They only did it for also for Grim Creeper. So yeah, let's move on to the next element. Next element we're going to talk about is the fire element, which came in Skylanders Giants with Hothead as the giant, which is honestly a pretty fun giant in my opinion. He was one of my favorites when I was younger with his motorcycle ability, of course. I love that ability so very much. And your core is Hot Dog, my dad's personal favorite and one of my favorites in almost every Skylander. I love all of his abilities. I don't even think we ever got him completely maxed out though, which is kind of funny. I think so, but Hot Dog did get a variant, in-game variant, which will be Molten Hot Dog, which is also a pretty cool variant, and the light core for this element was Light Core Eruptor. Next up, we have the Undead element, which the giant coming in is Eyebrow. Eyebrow, I like him playing against him, but I do personally don't like how his eyeball can come off when you're just trying to spam, and it messes me up, and it's honestly not one of my favorite abilities. That's what put Eyebrow as one of my least favorite giants, but he's also he's not Ninjini, so he's better. But the core from this element would be Fright Rider, not Knight Rider, what was I saying? Fright Rider, which is this cool little goblin type, I don't even know, elf. He's like a stealth elf. I didn't mean goblin, I'm sorry to all the Fright Rider fans. Riding a dead, like, ostrich or something. It is really cool. And the light core from this element is Light Core Hex. Next up we have the Earth element, which has my personal favorite giant, which is Crusher, who most people don't dislike for some reason, but I honestly think he's one of the most fun to play as. I love the giant hammer, and when I was a kid, one of my favorite games with that giant hammer. And then you have your which Crusher did get a variant, which is in-game variant, which is Granite Crusher. And then you have the core, which is Flashwing. Flashwing, not one of my favorites. I do think she's a little overrated. Sorry. And she also got a variant, Jade Flashwing. And the light core for this element is Light Core Prison Break, which is like the whole thing behind light cores. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Now we're going from my favorite giant element into my least favorite, which is Magic, which has Ninjini. She's not one of my personal favorites. She can get okay if you learn to use her, but she's not one of my favorites. She is also did get a variant. She got Scarlet Ninjini, but her core counterpart, which is Pop Fizz, he is one of my favorites. Also with like Hot Dog, he's up there, and he also did get a variant. We talked about it earlier, Power Punch Pop Fizz, which is also pretty fun to play as, with the light core in this element being Light Core Pop Fizz, which if you didn't know is actually different on the poster than it is in the actual figure, because it was too big for the packaging. I do believe. Next up, we have the tech element, which is another one of my favorite giants, which is Bouncer. Bouncer is amazing to play as with his finger guns and everything. You all already know that. He's awesome. He's a tall giant robot. I mean, what could be cooler? Which is another reason he was one of my favorites when I was little. Like I said, I love giant, like, random, robust things. And he had finger guns, so that's cool. And he did get a variant, which being Legendary Bouncer. He was also a pretty cool looking variant, but this has the worst core in the game, Sprocket. Everyone hates Sprocket. Sprocket's just slow and doesn't do much damage, and her her soul gem is weaker than her actual, like, just doing it normally. And so she's one of everybody's least favorites in the light core. In the tech element is light core Drobot. Now we have the air element, which with the amazing giant Bouncer again, Swarm, which is another really cool giant. I love his bee abilities, how he can turn his whole body into bees. It is awesome idea and was one of my favorites. And there's actually a Swarm in my mom's kitchen. I put it in there because her kitchen's like bee themed. But yeah, and then we have your core, which is, well, then you have your core, which is Jetvac. Jetvac's also a pretty cool Skylander. Personally, I don't see why he gets all the hate he does get. He did get a legendary counterpart, and he has the light core, which is light core Jetvac. And now we are finally in the very last element, which is the life element. This includes the giant Tree Rex, which is the first giant you'll get in the game, and one of the best giants in the game. He is very strong, and he can get fast with his arm ability, so that's another reason why many people like him. I think he's really fun, and he did get a variant, being Gnarly Tree Rex, with his core counterpart being Shroom Boom, which is another one of people's favorites. He came with the Dragon Cannon pack with Series 2 Chop Chop, and he was also the light core counterpart, so that's pretty cool. So yeah. Oh, before we do the outro, there's one last thing we need to talk about, which is the magic items, which there was only 2 in this game, them being the Dragon Fire Cannon and the Catapult, I think it's called. I don't know what it's like, Fire Catapult or something, and that's the one I don't own. But that is only magic items in this game, and those came within 3 packs, well, 2 packs, technically 2 Skylanders, 1 magic item, which was alright, and they both unlocked battle levels and stuff, so that's about it. So let's get into the outro, which I'm just going to do in this one part. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you for Thumbplanner to doing this collab, a little snippet for me, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.